Hey guys, we're here with Saad, Dmitry and Sarra from Uber. Saad is the business development head for India and Dmitry is
The business head for the developer platform.
he's the business head for the developer platform and Sarra leads the global platform partnerships. We're going to ask them a few questions about Uber in India and their various developer initiatives that they're going with. We're going to start with Saad. So Saad, firstly, with the trip experiences opening, what I would want to know is what kind of results you've got from developers in India. Like what kind of reactions have you got from them?
I think so far, since it's very early days, we just literally announced it at the hackathon, and 20 minutes before people were ready to hack. So, and even within that short time, people came up with some pretty amazing ideas. One team came up with the idea of a bus booking app wherein the bus driver gets informed if you're running late for your bus, and if you're like 3 or 4 minutes wait, potentially he could wait. Another team came up with the idea of aggregating sort of movie timings which are tailored to wherever your destination is, and showing them to you so that you can pick a movie to go to. So those are some of just a couple of the ideas that came up, but there were many more from various other teams. So we're really excited to see how the developer community has embraced this idea, and we hope to see many more such ideas come out.
Over half of the teams ended up building something that used the Trip Experiences API, even though it was only announced, as Saad mentioned, 20 minutes before the hackathon started. So I think it speaks to the the immediate validation we're hearing from developers across the world about their excitement to build experiences for Uber trips.
So India has traditionally been pretty big in terms of the developer outlook that we get and the number of developers that we have. And you guys have had to change a lot of things when you came to India in the Uber app. So since you were head of development, if you could explain some of those things that have changed.
So I think Saad can actually give you a better overview of what customizations we made specifically for India. You want to?
Yeah. So for example, one of the changes that we made was in India we accept a payment method which is not accepted anywhere outside of India, which is Paytm and Airtel Money, which is the wallets that we've integrated into our app. The other big one is cash. So what started out as a little experiment that we tried in Hyderabad, because we thought that India is a cash economy. We tried out with this cash experiment. It was fairly successful to start with, and now it's been scaled to all the Indian cities, and not just the Indian cities, but we also exported it out to markets like Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia. A lot of the cities in these countries now accept cash as a payment method, and that's a new thing to Uber. It's not something which is available in every other market, but it's something which is like an India first sort of technological change that we made, and now it's been exported out to other markets.
One of the reasons we did launch the Trip Experiences API in India is because when you look at average time of trip length, because of some of the traffic and congestion issues in India, it tends to be longer here. So people have longer time in the back of an Uber, and so it's even more valuable to come up with really compelling and engaging experiences for them to enjoy when they're in an Uber.
So any of you can answer. Instead of just looking at developers to do something, I'm again going to go back to Spotify, which I talked to you about a while back. That was something Uber did by itself. It was something you guys did by itself. Are you doing something like that? Not necessarily Spotify, I'm saying features that Uber brings by itself instead of waiting for, say, a third-party developer to bring a new feature into the app or for the app?
I think part of the idea behind this is to actually make Uber a platform that others can plug into and use our Trip Experiences API to build experiences. We're a small team, and there's only so much that we can build. There's a larger developer community out there, and our goal with the API is to actually scale that and help others sort of build awesome experiences on top of the Uber ride. So to answer your question, while we can continue to make innovations and build things for the app similar to Spotify, our sort of vision now is that Uber as a platform will allow others to sort of plug into and build their own experiences on top of the Uber rides.
And we think we can, sort of define new partnership models with great partners, so we always want to test new concepts, and I think that in Spotify we had an amazing partner in really sort of transforming the trip experience, and I think what we've learned from that has really infused what we've released in the Trip Experiences API, because it's really unlocking that valuable time in the backseat of an Uber car for all partners and any partner and any developer to make an amazing experience. So sort of what was redefined in the Spotify partnership is really something that's available to everyone with our recent announcement.
In coming to India, when you talk about hackathons, this is the first time that you've done one in Bangalore. What can we expect after this? How many more, or do you have a roadmap of, say, X number of hackathons per year? Or
do you want to answer that?
Yeah, so I don't think that's how we think about it. It's, hackathons is just one tactic. If the question is, do we plan on being engaged with the developer community in India, and is it one of our priorities? Absolutely. India has the best developers in the world, and if we want to get the best trip experiences built for Uber, if we're not tapping into that resource, we're not doing our jobs right. So it's a very self-serving interest in being in India. It's not about India as a market. It's because the best developers are here, and we want them building for Uber.
And from a very selfish personal point of view, I had so much fun at the Bangalore hackathon that I think I'd be really sad right now if I didn't know that we have the Delhi hackathon tomorrow. So I'd say from a personal experience, we had such a good time that we're hoping it's sooner rather than later that we can come back and do it again.
So Dmitry, again, this is from a developer's point of view. The Uber app between Android and iPhone, the app itself functions better on iPhone. Is that because of the iPhones itself, the iOS infrastructure, or is that because of some other reason?
So I wouldn't necessarily agree that it works, significantly better or worse on one or the other. I think a lot of that is people's personal preferences. If you like iOS more, you're gonna like Uber on iOS more than you'll like it on Android. I think with Android you do see a broader range of GPS capabilities and so you do get a little bit more inconsistencies in how the Uber experience is relayed, whereas with iOS it's consistent across the board. So I think when you hear about those grumblings, I think it has more to do with differences in the device itself versus Android or iOS. But I can tell you from a prioritization at headquarters, we are just as passionate about Android as we are iOS, and making both the best they can be.
Thank you, guys.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks.